Well, it's like we covered classical when I was studying. It was just.
So everyone who already knows improvisation has already gone through this class. All. I think Ed's gone through them. Hello, my name is Xhrist. Thank you. Okay, Xfest. So I was fortunate enough to learn how to improvise from many people. One is Walter Wright, who's the person who started this event 15, 16 years ago. And his methodology is very left-brain, very logical. He's a very logical thinker and mathematical breakdowns. I've given the example of, if there's 5 people in the group, you should only be performing 3/5 of the time, sort of thing. Like everything is structured as whatever's going on. You get this, stop. This, stop. Like counting, etc., etc. He would run little workshops where we would practice starting, stopping, giving, getting, etc., etc., but still very logical. And so with Xfest and observing more and learning more myself, I do the Improv 202, which is the intuitive right brain sort of stuff, the touchy-feely thing. One of the people who's here, he's upstairs somewhere, is Joe Berger, who is very much into contact improvisation dance, as is Paul. And you just got kind of dragged into it because it's one of those things
Yeah,
you
I
get
don't
dragged
consider
into.
myself a contact improviser.
I don't consider myself a dancer.
Okay then, just saying. Go on.
So, anyways, well, but he has given workshops on more intuitive awareness of your space. And essentially what improvisation is sharing your stage time with some other people who don't know what they brought, they don't know what you brought, and some people treat improvisation as an opposition opportunity, a chance to fight. Others just don't know what they're doing. You'll hear some improvisations where nobody really wants to be too loud, nobody wants to stomp on anyone else, or no one's really sure, and others where they just go bang into it, or others where one person is over-dominating the entire soundscape, etc. And so having little workshops like this where we practice sharing space, taking space, it's good, it's fun. You may not use these principles in any of your other rehearsals or experiments, but it's just a kind of slightly different way to think of things. So I wrote it when it was flat so you could read my handwriting. So with our left brain and our logical thought of how we approach improvisation, that's the time count thing that I suggested earlier, very similar, where if there's the 5 people, you do your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the next person has their section, and you stop. However you want to, maybe you're playing every 5th note, maybe you're playing for 1 minute, and then the next person joins you for 30 seconds, and then you stop, they continue to play for a minute, and then the next person joins them for 30 seconds, and then that person stops, etc., all throughout the circle, so that everyone gets the opportunity to both start and manage the sound, share it with somebody, let go, and figure out how to withdraw and how to give. And that can be done, again, with counting, with time. I don't know about you, but I'm really bad at keeping sense of time when I'm performing. So because I am the right brain kind of person. Another concept of improvisation in left brain is the opposite or the counterpoint, where if somebody's doing a soft sound, you do a harsh sound. If somebody's doing loud, you do quiet. Supporting and complementing, similar. If you have somebody who is chosen to be the to be the main player, you support them with whatever you're doing sonically, whether it's complementary, counterintuitive, whatever it is. The whole point is to make that person shine. So if you're playing bass, you're there to make the guitarist and the singer look good. similar to that. Same, obvious, and withdraw and add as well, similar. Maybe you add, maybe you withdraw, whatever your calculation's going to be. But the easiest way for that to happen is through a round robin, which is, again, the 1 minute join, solo, join, 1 minute, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, we can do some of those if you'd like. So there are some sound makers here. We are sound makers ourselves. So I suggest you grab something that makes sound, or use your body or whatever it is, your voice, etc., whatever tools you want to use. Socks don't make so much sound, but you can. Yeah, we got the feet. You got all kinds of things there. You got the buttons, you got the mouth, you got the chair. Seems all that.
What is this? This is awesome.
And that works in the This still waiting. This poor thing has been bashed at elements.
I will
It's
be
very
picking your
old.
brain, so just
And it's been bashed on
looks
all
awesome.
kinds of weird shit.
All
I'm
right,
actually
awesome.
wondering if I should
So I
go
would
for
feel
something
that.
more primitive. I might be overpowered here.
Everybody got an object?
Your little noise box away.
Yeah, I was gonna go synthesizer, but
Paul's joining me. Paul wants to be second.
I'm gonna go primitive.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was trying to sandwich this, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. All right. I mean, we also have the box of nuts. I mean, there are no rules. It's improvisation. So another principle of improvising is paying attention to what's going on. We're going to get into that in greater detail in the intuitive side, but as far as the right brain side, consider that the quietest person should always be able to be heard. Some of the improvisations that you heard last night, like when Bonnie got nice and loud and powerful, but you could still hear Tara.
What other people are doing should also be an integral part, but in listening to what other people are doing, if you're improvising in the ideal manner, what other people are doing should be really informing what you do on the spot, because the ideal situation is you have your own stuff and you have your own particular set of skills, but the group that you're hearing is inspiring you to go in a direction you might not normally have gone in, and vice versa and vice versa, and multiply that through the group. And that is, I would say, probably where like the muse or multiple muses that people have can, magic can happen when you have musicians who just listen to each other and have an intrinsic understanding, that group is going to feel better when no one is rock starring, but everyone is playing together in such a way that if you are a rock star, you can have your little moments, that makes them have their moments, so on and so forth.
And how you arrive to that can be experience, chance, luck, things that you can control, like electronic failure. But the whole point of it is to allow you to consider what you're bringing to the group. Like, you know what you do when you're solo, but when you're stuck in doing vocals with 3 guitar players who are used to, banging it out, how are you going to adapt what you contribute to that, and how are they going to change what they contribute to this grouping that you're in?
It's a challenge, but
Yeah.
there are wonderful things at the other end of that challenge when you get it right. There are
That's why we do
wonderful
it.
things.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone has like anything really loud except for the drum. Hit it? That's it? Okay.
There's a bunch of people on percussion. I think a beat will probably manifest relatively cleanly.
Not necessarily, but it could. So we're going to do the round robin. I'll create a sound and maybe 30 seconds, just to keep it quick. Then Paul will join me for about 30 seconds, which means I gotta count, and then I'll stop, and then to jump right in, and then it's going to continue with that. And, you know, Steve, you'll start playing guitar a little bit. Then you'll do a little bit of sound by yourself, and then Noah, you'll jump in and work with him, et cetera, et cetera. And you can use anything that you want. You can counterpoint, you can do same, you can do an opposite, you can just do whatever sound you feel like that has nothing to do with what they're doing. It's just a map. This is just an exercise in being awareness of time and figuring out when to stop. When Walter teaches this class, he's like, 30 seconds and you stop! But, I mean, if it sounds really good, go a little longer. If you suck at transitioning, like, you know, work a little bit on the transition because it sounds really good. Or, you know, 30 seconds. So, all right.
All right.
One more. So, as you listen to each person, react to the thing that was before them and adapt. And granted, we're using instrumentation that we're not all familiar with. It's just interesting to see how when percussion came in, it came in a different way. When you're using instrumentation that's not your regular stuff, you're a lot more willing to play it in a different way. But
I will say, as a not necessarily a critical statement, but just based on my own normal style of playing, in an improv like this, under normal circumstances, at least for myself anyway, if there's not a everyone jumps in at such and such time, like as an example, like when you were doing your vocals, and I'm someone who has a fair amount of experience with working with guitarists and also vocalists and stuff, and when you were doing your vocals, and then again when she was, my head was composing, like I can harmonize with other people, but I was holding off, and then by the time it got to the actual percussion, that part had kind of disappeared a little bit. But if it had, had flowed in a completely natural and, at least in that particular circumstance, less structured way, I feel like I could have, I could have caught, because I'm very much vocal too, because I sing a lot with my music. And, I've often said I've seen similarities between some of your loop work and mine, and, I was definitely honing in on your stuff, and the same with them, so.
yeah, you focus on what you're familiar with. So now we're going to jump into the right brain stuff, where you have your sense of space, the physical space that you're filling, your space between you and the other performers, the way your stuff sounds in different locations, your environment. We've got the AC unit humming, we've got people upstairs, we've got the soundless but beautiful site behind us. We've got all these things that make this specific space very unique, both physically and sonically. So if you take the same group, everything measured out the same, et cetera, in a different building, everything else the same, but it's dark outside, or we're on the second floor, it's going to be very different.
Like it's the Wire Factory.
At the Wire Factory, yeah. Or the old 119 gallery. It's your environment, both your physical environment and your mental environment and your biological environment are going to impact the sounds that you're making. And we arrive late, we arrive harried, or we've been there all day, and sometimes you don't have all the tools you want to have to put on your perfect performance, so you learn to work with what you got. Limits and arbitrary restrictions are things like using an instrument you don't have, an unfamiliar instrument, or do not use your own instruments the way they're supposed to be used, or use something that is non-instrument, or etc.
It's an antique.
Yeah, whatever you need to do. And also exhaust and unsustainable. That's a trick where you find a note that is really hard to do. And that's what you're going to do, a 5-minute improv with things that you cannot do very long. So, etc. Like,
Or your best Diamante Glass impersonation.
Where do you go when you can't hold that note? All right, this is what you're going to do, because there's going to be times in your professional or fun life where you can't hit that note, or the gear doesn't work, or something, etc. So I feel that these little practices and stretches are a good way to prepare you for that. But one of the ways to prepare for a more intuitive improvisation is through contact improv. Does anybody here not know what that means?
We have to touch each other?
Yes.
Get him.
But not necessarily. But not necessarily.
That happens all the time at Xfest. I've been rubbed down in a couple performances. I won't put rough names, but it's expected.
So you can, we all have different feelings of personal space. We have sonic space, et cetera, et cetera. So what I want to do is a contact improv with sound. And Paul and I are going to start to show you how it's done. And then Clara, who also knows how it's done. What do I do? I don't know, just go wing it. What do we always do? Wing it. So, Paul does movement, sometimes I do movement, but basically I do whatever I feel like, so. Woo! What I expected. I did not expect this attached.
That was my pocket square for my
Work
wedding.
with it. Work with it.
Your pocket scarf at your wedding?
My pocket square for my wedding tux.
It's rather thick.
Well, I mean, I had a pretty thick wedding.
Wah,
You gotta
wah.
be thick to marry this guy.
Hatcha! Hatsy, whoa!
Cha-cha-cha, delicious.
For those of you who don't want to be touched, or whatever, we're going to use this as the communicator, because it's still kind of hot. So some people don't want to be touched, some don't mind, but we can use this as a thing that we will pass amongst each other. You can move as long as you want, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a movement in your body or your sound, and then you're going to hand it to another person. You can touch them or not touch them, you can whatever, but what you're doing is you're reacting to them.
Oh, this is so fun.
Will we all be this graceful the first time?
No, I stretched. And you can move as much as you want or as little as you want, because sometimes your body doesn't let you.
Can't brand.
Watch out for that first step, Doc. It's a little.
We're doing the same pass around.
You can do a pass around, you can continue to make sound.
It's like art gallery freestyle.
Exactly, but you have to interact with at least 2 other people. And it
Well,
doesn't-
getting a rhythm going, getting where we can all enjoy safe songs would probably help. So if the rhythm people would rhythmize or improvise or something else. If the rubby is coming, it's got to have a good 4/4 rhythm. Rubby. Ruddy, ruddy for everyone.
So you see how silly we just got? There's some improvisations that are extremely serious, and those are
You
boring.
throw those right out the window, Doc.
Right. I don't like those. But another one I'd like to do is the let's see, should we do space or same or compliment? What do you guys want to do? Anybody have any same? You want to do same? All right. With the sound, we'll all do a similar sound. But you're still you are the main performer, and whatever sounds you make, we try to do the same sounds.
Does it pass? Do we pass it?
You're the boss.
Just like to say right off the bat, if you all don't know what gibbons are, look them up. They're the coolest great names ever. Get him!
Take it.
Something!
Whoa!
Whoa.
Your mama's so good looking.
So, in that exercise, it was nice to see how you had to look whoever the leader was.
I love how after all that you still have to put the academic veneer of calling it an exercise, but
Yeah.
you do you, but that was fun, but
That's about an exercise about as much as me having long distance vision.
It's nice because you have to still be able to hear the person who's creating the original sound or movement and pay attention to them while quickly responding and predicting what they might be doing. And you know, I chose a note that's hard for a lot of us to reach. It's hard for me to reach. But again, you have to pay attention to what the other person is doing. So maybe one more exercise, unless you guys want to do more than that. And let's see. Let's work on the listening one, which is not listed but is implied. And that is going to be as quiet a sound as you can make. And whatever sound, let's do the point and click, or the point and throw thing. Whatever sound somebody's making, whatever sounds you contribute to it, should not be louder than the origin sound. So if I'm doing this, but then if I do something louder, as long as you can hear the main person, and then we'll just like throw it to someone.
You can be loud. You can make more sounds. You can use all the sounds you want and all the notes. As long as everybody else is making a sound quieter than what I'm making, you can make all kinds of sounds. All the sounds. Maybe a little bit of percussive, maybe some clapping, maybe some movement, maybe some sounds, maybe some sounds, maybe the absence of sounds.
Summertime. And the improv is easy. Because when nobody's leaving, now we're just making sounds. I'm going to arbitrarily choose Jonathan and start supporting what he's doing. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to listen to what he's doing and figure out if there's any way that I can contribute to that sound to make it either more pleasant, or because I just can't hold back, or something like that. And I invite everyone else to participate, or if they want to take over the sound or whatever, and play around with supporting what somebody else is doing.
In the time before steamships, or then more frequently than now, it often came to pass that a group of people would become distracted by a handsome sailor. Generation, the same patterns emerge, the same special friends, the same special abilities and qualities, as if for the first time or the last time. There's a greater structure, but there isn't. It's just the same thing happening. And each time they happen is the only time they happen. Nothing ever repeats. you want to hear about how my girlfriend had a dialogue with a frog?
Yeah.
It happened on Sunday.
This
And
Sunday?
as you may notice, when you see the frogs around the ornamental pools around this house, the frogs keep very still and they're very quiet because they don't know whether you want to eat them and they don't know whether you can see them. So until you get very, very close, they don't move and they don't make a sound. But my girlfriend's name is Mari Vaughn, and she has a very special vocal quality, apparently. Because we walked up to the pool, it's just on the other side of this house. And she said something along the lines of, "Hey there, Mr. Frog." And the frog said something along the lines of, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop." And I said, I wondered if I was seeing a real thing. Because, as I say, frogs don't make any sound. And then the frog swam across the little pool to the other side and came out. And she said something about, "What are you doing? How's your day going? What's going on?" And then the frog said something like this. But much lower, even though it's an animal only this big. So I thought, okay, here's a special frog that talks. So I said something like, "Oh, you talked to Mari Vaughn. Do you want to have a chat with me?" And the frog just looked at me. And so I thought, I thought maybe I'm wrong about frogs, or maybe that didn't just happen, but it did happen. And so then we came back the next day, and I walked up and I tried to imitate Mari Vaughn's voice. The frog just looked at me, and then Mari Vaughn came over, and the same thing happened. The frog spoke to Mari Vaughn in like complete sentence, couple of sentences. And then I went back the third day, Mari Vaughn wasn't around, and I said, "Mari Vaughn sends her love. Do you want to say anything to her?" And the frog was totally silent. So the frog only talks to Mari Vaughn. And that's a true story. I love frog stories.
Awesome. Anyone want to try anything else?
That's fun. Thank you.